Hey there, you're probably watching this video because you've just watched a 3 circles video and you want to learn more about the 3 circles. So I put this video together just to train you in the 3 circles, just briefly. But also I just want to say, before we do show you the 3 circles, I want to say this: the 3 circles is not a one-size-fits-all. It's actually just a very powerful way of sharing the gospel. And so we want to train you in that. But I'll also say that we're developing a 12-week course as part of the Normal Christian Life. And the 3 circles is just one of the many things we want to introduce you to throughout this course. It's going to have practical application and teaching and training that I believe really births such powerful transformations. So if you're interested in doing that course online, then we've also got a form you can fill out at the bottom of this video. And we'd love to hear from you, love to hear of those home groups and churches that are interested in doing this 12-week course. So it's going to be amazing. But right now, I've actually got my friend here, Meg, and you would have seen her in the video. She's amazing. And I would love her to just share the 3 circles with you. If you've got a piece of paper in front of you, or you could pause this video, I would encourage you to get a piece of paper, watch it a few times through. You can reverse it and then actually maybe do it to a family member a couple of times. So take it away, Meg.
So in the world, we have a lot of brokenness. And you can see that in lots of different ways: wars, famine, murder. They're all evidence of the brokenness in the world. But that was not God's plan. God's plan, his perfect design for the world, was for love and peace and unity. But what happened? Sin entered the world. And sin is anything from lying all the way through to murder. And sin separates us from God's perfect design and throws us into brokenness. Brokenness is not a nice place to be, though, so people try to escape in lots of different ways. Some people try sex and drugs and alcohol. Other people have to be very successful and wealthy or influential. But none of those things get them out of brokenness. It's like a bungee cord. It just snaps you straight back into brokenness. Now, the thing is, both of these places, both God's perfect design and brokenness, are eternal states. So if people remain in them, that's where they remain for eternity. God saw that we couldn't escape this place of brokenness on our own. So what he did was send his son, Jesus. Now, Jesus was God. So he had no sin. He lived a perfect life. And when he died and rose again on the 3rd day, he cancelled out the problem of sin. So now anyone can choose and turn and believe in Jesus and make him the Lord of their life. And if they do that, they can be made brand new and restored back into that perfect relationship with God and made brand new.
That's awesome. And then there's obviously the questions that we go into. So I'll be the person that Meg might ask the questions to. We'll do a reenactment.
So there's 2 types of people in the world. There's people in God's perfect design and people in brokenness. Where would you say that you are?
And this obviously would be the point where people, whether they're in brokenness or maybe they think that they're in God's love, they might be a Muslim or something, but let's just say I was in brokenness, I would obviously admit that, and I would say, well, I'm in brokenness.
And where would you rather be? Where would be the place you'd prefer to be?
And at this point, most of the time, people are quite honest, and they would say, well, I want to be in God's perfect design.
So is there anything stopping you from turning, like choosing to turn and believe in Jesus and making him the Lord of your life?
And it's been so amazing what we find when people ask this question. Sometimes they get really honest. Like when we were out and about, we had one guy who said a drug addiction to yourself. Right. Yeah. Or sometimes people just say, you know what, there's nothing holding me back. So let's say I was to go, there's nothing holding me back. And that's obviously an incredible opportunity. If someone was to say that, Meg, you've seen so many people come to Jesus through this. Let's say someone was to say, nothing's holding me back. What would you do next?
So I talk about a prayer. I just say, well, I prayed a prayer like this, where I asked Jesus to become the Lord of my life. And if you'd like to, we can pray a similar prayer together. And then I lead them based on the diagram and what they see before them to turn away from their sin and their brokenness and receive Jesus as their Lord and Savior and be restored. And they thank God at the end for being restored and made brand new.
And what I love about this as well is that it opens up dialogue and conversation. So let's say the people in the video who said, oh, look, drugs are holding me back, or this is holding me back. You can talk people through that, and you can help them see the need for a savior. And just like Meg and Joel were talking about in the video, you can talk them through, hey, that kind of stuff, God actually paid a price to set you free from that. Or if someone says I'm a Muslim, or say they're a different belief, oh yeah, I'm in God's perfect design. This actually brings an interesting point up, because what we've presented is Jesus Christ is the only way, and that also opens up some great conversation. But what I love to do as well is when people, and Meg is incredible at this, and so many other people who we've had in the video, is sharing the gospel in its entirety. And even once this has been presented, to kind of talk the person through it and say, hey, listen, if you want to make this decision, it's a big deal thing. And I'll often use the analogy, it's like when Haley and I got married and we made vows and gave our lives to each other. But we didn't just say those vows and walk away from each other. We weighed up the cost and we gave our lives to each other. And I talk about that in the same way when you come to Christ. And then it's an incredible opportunity into discipleship. So we would encourage you with all of that. And the course we're going to put together is going to go deep into that. Meg and some others are going to help me with that. And we believe that this 12-week course we're doing is going to be absolutely incredibly powerful for you. But I would encourage you to put this into practice. Even just rewind Meg running you through that. Practice it out, and it's really a great way to have conversation with people. Have you got any quick testimonies, Meg, of just when you've shared this with people?
Yeah, for me, like I find sharing the 3 circles it's a connection point. It's not like the whole walk with Jesus. It's just a connection point. And if I can really connect with someone's heart throughout the process of sharing the 3 circles, I find that's when they really open up. So I'm always listening to them and listening for what they're saying while I'm sharing, so that there might be things that they bring up that I can draw from, like that guy that we shared with on the streets. He talked about the thing stopping him was his drug addiction, and I was just able to share my testimony about being free of my own addictions, and able to share, a bit more about myself, and that's very powerful.
Absolutely. We've seen so much. One lady, actually a young girl, was in a classroom practicing the 3 circles, and I think a teacher was trying to reprimand her for drawing in her class and got her to do the 3 circles. She said, well, show the class what you're doing, and this girl did the 3 circles to a whole classroom full of students, and I think 6 students wanted to leave brokenness and come to Christ. So we're seeing powerful things through this, but I don't want to sound repetitive, but this is so important to me that you would come along and maybe even do this course that we put together, 12-week course, because this is just the beginning. And honestly, I'm seeing people all around the world come alive to the reality that Jesus is calling us to imitate him, and he's empowered us to. And so, hey, if you're interested in doing a 12-week online course as maybe a small group or a church or any of the above, would you just consider filling out the form below? That'll just come through to us, and we'll see those who are interested in that. And we really look forward to doing it. So last encouragement, rewind that video, watch Meg doing the presentation, go out and share the 3 circles, and also fill out the form below if you get a chance. God bless you guys.